Welcome to Kaleidoscope, the show where we share perspectives and growth from around the world through normal voices. I am Rae Liu, the host. This is Luigi, my co host. And today we are joined by Jay Adewole, the host of Winner Circle podcast, where they share inspirational stories about franchise businesses that are growing. Roll the intro.
Tough questions, honest answers. Oh, the messy truth. Your perspectives. Let's begin. Welcome to Kaleidoscope.
Great. So, Jay, do you want to kick us off today, or would you like one of us to kick off our perspective first?
Yeah. I want to first say thank you for having me on the show. Just like you said, my name is Jay Adewole. I'm excited to be here and also share some of my insight with the audience today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jay. She introduced me already. I'm a host of the Winner Circle podcast. Show that focus on businesses, helping them grow. Giving people knowledge on the concept of how they can grow their business and also how to be a great leader. So we often have people on the show, um, different people, especially in the United States. We are based off of New York City. And also I'm a business coach with a passion for helping entrepreneurs and business leaders reach their full potential. So that's just all about me in a few seconds. Thank you for having me.
That's awesome. We're super happy to have you here and for you to be a business coach and for Kaleidoscope actually to be a brand new business trying to grow online. Hopefully we can learn something from you.
Yeah, I don't think we can
All
top.
right.
I don't think we can top his intro.
Yeah,
I didn't intro myself. Hello everyone, I'm Luigi, and I hate it when people wait on escalators. That's my intro for the week.
Perfect intro.
Nobody wants to ask why?
Why?
Jeez. I just can't comprehend why you would go to an escalator and wait for it to bring you to the top. In my mind, the point of the escalator is to just get to the top sooner.
So, actually, you know what? I think that you're a warp drive escalator user because that's how warp drive works.
Yeah, okay.
It's a fact.
That's it.
Man. Well, if you were to be in New York right now, when you have to go to like this 90th floor or something, you have no choice than to wait for the elevator. We have like a lot of elevators out here that are very old, whole buildings, like we're talking about 1970s that they just renovated the body, but the mechanics is still in like the 1980s. So
Wow.
so you gotta wait.
It's kind of glamorous though. Elevators, I understand. Okay, because stationary, everyone goes and they wait, it goes up. But an escalator, it's stairs and it's moving, and you don't have to wait. You can walk up and get there sooner. An escalator, you can't fly. Or no, sorry, an elevator you can't fly, but an escalator, you can walk. Whatever. All right, let's not go off on a tangent.
You're right. You're right.
Let's get into it, folks.
Interesting fact on escalators and elevators. Suzhou, for a short time, that's the city where we are, Jay. They had the fastest elevator in China, at least, maybe in the Northern Hemisphere. I think it topped the tower, the International Finance Center here in Suzhou, in like 20 seconds. It's 117 floors. So it blazes up.
Wow.
Flattens you on the floor.
There you go.
Yeah.
Do you trust it enough?
Do I trust the elevators? Oh, yeah. I have no
I
problem.
mean, the fastest elevator. You know how fast that could
Oh,
go.
I have no idea. Too fast. But I'm okay with it. I do not fear death.
Sure.
Yeah. However, I do want to live forever. I don't fear death, but I want to live forever. Jay, what do you want to share with us today? I know, but yeah.
Okay. For me, I want to share just a little thing. The world we live in right now. We want to build um something I know best, which is all about entrepreneurship and how people should take note of important things if they want to grow their business. You want to
Mm.
be an entrepreneur. I just feel I could say 10 important things all entrepreneurs should know, which is very, very important. It's something every entrepreneur. So if you call yourself an entrepreneur, or if you're aspiring to be an entrepreneur, because I know just like the show you got started right now, it's entrepreneurship itself. So thinking about, you know, you want to understand the market. There are quite a number of things you need to take a look at, to build a follower base, to not just only follower base, to build a big brand, and not just only a big brand. We're talking about also to be profitable, and not just only profitability alone. Also, which is very key, is so that you can enjoy it. It doesn't become something you don't like, but you just have to do just to survive. So, because entrepreneurship should be something that you're passionate about. It's something that you when you're sleeping in the night, you can't wait to get started in the morning. You can't wait for the next show. You can't wait for the next you know cake you want to bake. You can't wait for the next um ride you want to take. Something that just keeps you going. And that's what I want to share about entrepreneurship. Yeah.
So the business, the podcasting, and this particular podcast is also going online, and it's diversified into commentary on certain politics related to uh, our personal experiences and sensual storytelling, and hopefully
Mm.
later to sell actual physical products. But
Mm.
predominantly everything is online. So it's very ethereal. How do you connect that for new businesses personally in your profession?
All right. Thank you for that question. You know, Talking about going online and doing things online, I was an advocate. That's why how I got started as a business owner, an entrepreneur. Before the COVID, you know, before the COVID get started, that people start switching online. I always advocate. One of my main um consult consulting business I do was to help business transform from physical to online. A lot of businesses were really not interested. Like, why should I go online? What's online? You know, like for example, then Walmart really don't need to sell online. Why do they need to be online? You know, what's the name? Target. Target doesn't want to
Yep.
be online. Nobody want to be online because let Amazon just make the money online. We don't care. We want to sell offline. That's our target market. Then COVID struck. Now that's one of the most busiest time for me, even as a business coach and also a consultant. We start getting a lot of reach out people that we've reached out to before COVID start reaching out to us. How can I transform my business online? Stores were shutting down, restaurants couldn't sell anymore, you know. Then the brick and mortar did not really matter because nobody's walking into the store to come buy food. So now the thought is, how can we sell to people? That's when the others start making money. Then we started getting a lot of businesses we've contacted before COVID reaching out to us and say, "Oh, please, can you help me transform my business online?" Which requires a lot. You know, I often do a seminar. You know, right here in New York. I call it How to Build Your Business Online. It has just been a seminar I've been doing for years right now. And it's how to build your business online. So a lot of people come in to just make sure, they get all the things right. Okay, they just do a check mark. Okay, I've done this, I've done this, I've done that. Then I'm good to go. So what am I trying to say is we help a lot of businesses. I, as an individual, I help a lot of businesses, push their business online. And now they're enjoying the fact. Not because even maybe somewhere in Australia or China, I don't have to be there, right? But the goal is now the online market is huge, right? I'm right here in New York City, right? And I'm having a conversation across the globe. That's how powerful online has become. So now, let me just quickly divert a little bit and just quickly touch on one thing, on number one, because I know we have like number 10. So I just want to talk about number one when it comes to 10 things all entrepreneurs should know. I just want to put a point on that. You need to understand your market. So if you want to go online, you want to do whatever, you want to push your business, you need to do a research. You need to research your target market thoroughly. And that's one thing I always tell people. When you want to set up your business or whatever you need to understand. You need to understand your target audience. Just like what's the name? Winner Circle. We know our target audience. We have over 200,000 listeners right now. We have like we have like a lot of email lists that we always blast. Almost every other time we have a podcast. We push that. How do we? Because we understand what they need, and they always reach out to us after the podcast and like, oh wow, I love who you brought this. We want this person, or we would love to somebody that can actually talk in this niche. Then we tell our team, you know what, help us get this person to come on the show. We'd love to have this person on the show, and we push it and push it and push it until we get it because we understand our market. So our market is strictly entrepreneurs, business owners, and leaders. So, and also, even let's talk about the main business. You also need to know the pain points of your market. So what exactly, whatever you're trying to sell, what's the pain point? What does your buyers, your clients, what do you think they need? As living in New York has taught me a whole lot of things. You can always come up with ideas that is similar to somebody else, but you can tweak it a little bit and you have your own market. Right here in New York, we have like vehicles, like limo vehicles that actually pick up people with pets. Because most drivers, maybe yellow cab driver, they'll say, no, I don't want a pet in my car. I don't want to. So now there's actually a market. Somebody thought of that and say, you know what? Why don't I have something like that? And they have it. And guess what? They already have that market right now. They have the market share of people with pets, and they did a good marketing research. So that's number one. So I'll just let's have the conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. That fascinates me. I'm not that creative. I'm not that clever to like recognize something like a business and then change it just a little bit. Like, was it pet limos delivering pets? Reminds me of my father.
Yes.
He was like that too. He's not a very good entrepreneur, but he would do the most bizarre things. At one time, he invented coffins for pets, like pets that died. Builds them. He's a carpenter, and made them little coffins for sale. And he created that in our city, but it never really took off. But then years later, I know for a fact people do make things like things to bury their pets in. That's weird.
His business was before its time, for sure.
a lot of my dad's stuff was before his time. I reckon.
Yes. So,
But yeah,
the thing
that's really
about,
fascinating to think of those tiny little
hmm
tweaks,
hmm,
and it's
hmm,
still like a markedly unique idea that can, I mean, for some, I guess, make a lot of money and have a lot of success. I don't think I could ever do it. I'm not that, again,
hmm,
not that smart.
hmm. So, but I think sometimes things happen as needed, right? So when I mean as needed is you can have a great idea, but the idea might not really work for 2025. The idea
Right.
might work for 2028. So now
Yeah.
just imagine you have like you have like Zoom, or you even
Yep.
have like Zoom as at 2011. It might really not work. And there are a lot of collaborative tools that we have right now for remote workers that if you had that before 2020, it might really not work as much because people really don't need it. So sometimes things happen, the world changes, or sometimes um your product that you are trying to introduce might be to serve another product. All right. So for example, let's take a look at um Thread and Instagram. So there's some products like that that you maybe through once you have an Instagram account, for example, you automatically have a Thread account. Maybe you click on it and it will sign you up. That works. And there's some other, like if you have a Shopify account right now, there's a way you can link your Shopify account and you can link it to all like Walmart, Target Plus, and every other platform, and automatically they're going to integrate to each other, and automatically once you're uploading your product on Shopify as a platform, the your product is going to all these other platforms, and when people buy from other platform, it gets your store. There's one client we did that to for, and automatically before they were selling on Amazon. And it got to a point, a lot of people were doing returns because that's one of the major problem here. A lot of people can just order something on Amazon, wait for 3 days and return it. They really don't care. So it kills a lot of businesses for especially if it's a small business, and they keep getting returns, and it was getting too much, and they say, you know what, we don't want to work with Amazon anymore. And they open their own store, and they connect it with Walmart Plus, Target Plus. They connected with all the eBay and every other into one store. They were making a certain amount. Let's just say a certain amount, 100, right? For example, $100,000, right?
Mm.
When they connected every other platform, they connected Etsy and this other platform, connecting their product to those platforms automatically make them have times four, making $400,000 of how much they will have make $100,000, because now the reach is now bigger.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody's surfing on Amazon, surfing on eBay, they saw the product. Somebody's surfing on Target, they see the product. Because now people are even lazy right here right now. Nobody want to go to the store anymore. Yeah, nobody really want to go to the store. Just go online, 2 clicks, and you get what you want. You know, you don't want to go to the store walking about, and that's one thing that a lot of people have learned. That whatever you are trying to build, just understand there's time for everything. So
Yeah.
don't build something right now and just throw up the curtain and say, you know what, I think this thing cannot work. Yeah, sometimes it might take years. Unfortunately, not every entrepreneur is ready for that. But like I said, while you're like the founders of what's the name, Airbnb, at some point they paused. They were doing something else. Then later they came back to Airbnb. So it's fine if it's not working well. Probably introduce a smaller product, and you can still push the product while you still have the main goal. You never
Put
can
it on the
tell.
back burner.
That's a
Yeah.
really, like, it's a really positive way of thinking about business and entrepreneurship, because I think a lot of people, if something doesn't work, they don't think, oh, it's just not the right time. They think it doesn't work. I'm a failure. It's not a good idea.
Yeah.
But I think that's
The
really
thing is,
insightful. about
Yeah,
timing.
you're right.
I mean, it's the first time I'm hearing about it. I never thought of that. Probably because, I don't have an entrepreneurial mindset.
I think everyone does. That's why you're on the
Mm.
show.
You go first. You go first.
I'm just here for the ride, baby.
Yeah. So to quickly add to that, I feel everybody has the entrepreneurial spirit. So how do I know? If you can make your food yourself,
Okay.
you have if you can make it for yourself and you trust it enough to believe that that food is actually good, that you didn't make a mess of it and maybe it's a poison, you're trying to poison yourself, then that means you can convince yourself, because the first person you need to convince is you. So if you can convince yourself to eat the food that you made, probably you checked on YouTube, you're not too sure if it's the right
Yeah.
way to do it, but you convince yourself, you know what, I'm just gonna bite it anyways. So that's one. Number two, if you can go to a driving school, or you never did, or no, and you get a vehicle and you drive a vehicle, then you're an entrepreneur. So but the only thing about vehicle is the first time you try, and probably you scratch another car or another vehicle, or probably you didn't drive properly, you won't say, no, I'm never going to drive again, I'm done. Guess what? You keep driving. First year, second year, you made some mistake, you learn some mistake, you keep driving till you become a good driver. You wouldn't say, oh, because I can't drive, I'm not going to drive anymore. Nah, I made a mistake, never, I'm not going to do it anymore. Right?
Yeah.
That's entrepreneurship, because it's risk. You could drive for the first time and probably eat the curb and die like that, but guess what, you never gave up. That's entrepreneurship. You didn't really wait for somebody to actually push you and say do it. You just keep driving. And sometimes that's where business coach comes in. They tell you, okay, we've seen this before, you know what, just keep driving. You made a mistake. Okay, you didn't park well. You park. Okay, in New York, parking is very horrible. I don't know, every other country they have like a parking spot. Over here, parking is horrible because you have to park parallel parking. So now guess what, you tried for the first time, he didn't park well. You leave it. The next time, before you know it, you become an expert with driving and also parking. So my take is every person, every individual has an entrepreneurial spirit. All they need is somebody to push them. Just somebody to just say, you got this. You got this. And I want to ask, which college did you attend?
Which college did we go?
I'll answer.
Okay, Ruby, you first. I think you should tell him what school you went to.
Oh, no, we'll leave that one. My university was the University of Pretoria in South Africa. That's where I went.
Okay,
And I
that's a
studied
great school.
communication management. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. But do you believe, how many years did you use in the university?
I studied for 3 years.
3 years. So do you think you can do everything you did in 3 years in a year?
I can do everything I did in 3 years in
I mean, everything
3 months.
they taught you, you can do in
Yeah,
3 months,
3
right?
months. Yeah.
So guess what? If we can wait for 3 years for something we'll learn in 3 years, we can wait 3 years for something so we can wait 3 years for something we can learn in 3 months. So guess what, we can do the same thing as an entrepreneur, to understand that we want to wait, because once an individual invest maybe like $100,000 or maybe $50,000 or in a business, guess what, they're like, what's happening, I'm not making money, I need to start making money right now. They try 6 months and they're like, you know what, I'm not making money, but guess what,
Right.
they just throw down like, you know what, I'm no longer doing this business because I'm not making any money in 6 months.
Yeah.
But they can wait 3 years or 4 years for something they're learning, and they keep paying the fees. They pay first year, they pay second year, they pay third year. Why don't they just throw it up and say, you know what, I can't, I just want to pay 1 year and I'm done. I'm done with this 1 year, right? So it's fair for you as an entrepreneur to just say, you know what, I'm not just going to give up. I'm going to try. If you learn, you can also learn to, tweak it a little bit, you know, and that's where I'm going to talk about number two that a lot of people don't have. After they're done with the research and they know their needs, the pinpoint of their client, the service they want to go into, they don't have a clear vision and a mission. So now, as an entrepreneur, you need to have a defined long-term vision and mission.
Mhm.
So for example, if you're driving, let's just say, for example, you're driving from, let me just give an example, from Pretoria. You're driving from Pretoria to like Cape Town, for example. Guess what? You have a Google map. I don't know how good you are as an expert in navigating, but Google Map will save you the stress, right? So that Google Map is like a clear vision and a mission. So you already know, go right, go left, turn right. When you miss your way, guess what? The map will reroute itself and
Yeah.
show you another better way. And guess what? Before you know it, you get to Cape Town. And that is what a clear vision and a mission helps you. You know where you want to go. So no matter what you're going through right now, you know the long-term goal. Like, okay, the next 10 years, we should be the number one store in the United States. In the next 2 years, we should be like the number one podcast platform in the whole of in the whole globe. Our niche is gonna be this. So the vision keeps you going. The vision. So no matter what, even if you miss your road, if there's like a roadblock, or maybe they're fixing the road, guess what? You say, okay, Google Map, this road is blocked. Can you reroute me? Reroute you. You go left again. You turn around. You continue until you get to your destination. Probably if you have a flat tire, guess what? You pull over. You call the what's the name? The insurance guys, or which one you have.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
come
The
and
tow
fix the
truck. Yeah.
tire. Yeah, the tow truck. They help you with fixing the tires, and you continue your journey. Until you get to the destination. You're not gonna say, "Oh, because I have a flat tire, I'm not going to Cape Town anymore, or I'm not going to, your destination." So your destination is the goal. So a clear vision and a mission is everything you need. So if you don't have any of that, guess what? You don't know where you're going. You're just going in circles because there's no vision and mission for what you're doing, and that's where the problem is. Yes.
That's really cool. So I have just a few questions to ask you before we move on to the next um
All
to the
right.
next topic. My questions, the first couple are kind of rapid fire. Are you the founder of Winner Circle?
Yes, I'm the founder of Winner Circle.
That's awesome. How many
Thank
companies
you.
have you helped so far?
Um, so we've helped a lot, over 200 plus.
Wow.
All right. Yes. So for Winner Circle, we focus on coaching, mostly business coaching, and all aspect of coaching. So there's another part of what I do, which is a more bigger organization, which is a corporation. If you Google them, you'll see it's Point of View Consulting. Is a corporation. We have like partners. We have, you know, people with 15 years working with KPMGs and all like. So we have like, bigger team over, spread across like 40 staff working together in New York City. Point of View Consulting, that which is the main organization. So, but we focus on mostly consulting, like marketing research, operational management, change management, business strategy. Quite a number of things that we do. That's a normal day job for me, right? But Winner Circle itself is a coaching platform that I founded because I found out that a lot of entrepreneurs are having issues, especially with scaling. Some are stocked. So now you can come for consulting services. We're going to offer you a consulting service, solve the problem, help you come up with a nice strategy that you move on. But guess what? You are not being sustained. Next time, if you have a problem, you're still going to come to us and we're still going to charge you thousands of dollars. All right. So why don't I just help business owners and entrepreneurs and stand by side with them, have like the same flow with the same thing that with solutions we also provide for them, help them navigate themselves mentally so that next time they don't really need to come to our consulting services and it's something they can actually, you know, figure it out themselves. So that's one major thing we do in at Winner Circle.
Tell me about the first 10 podcasts of Winner Circle. How was it? What did you feel personally in starting it?
Wow, that's a very fantastic question, Ray. I'm not gonna lie, it's actually a very powerful question. So the first podcast, hmm, the first podcast, started like I wouldn't say was very serious, right? We started the first podcast on Zoom. I think, yeah, we started on Zoom. We started on Zoom, you know, and I did the first one. I didn't really have a guest for the first one because I was trying to figure out like, okay, how can I have businesses, So I have quite a number of clients that I said, okay, I was going to bring some people that are really doing well on my show maybe later in the future. But I just wanted to just start something, you know. Um, I'm not very, it's not easy for me to be talking to myself alone. Just imagine talking to the screen, not
Yep.
talking to having a flow. It was really weird to me, you know. And I think I did that first one, I just came up and I said, okay, 20 things. I can't remember the topic, but I think it's something I will later check. And, something about, five stuff you need to do as a business, something like that. And I just
Yep.
started saying it off my head. And it wasn't really easy because I wasn't, but guess what? I didn't start with video because I really didn't, you know, n- I wasn't really ready for the video thing. So we
Yeah.
started with the Apple. No, I think I started with Apple. Then we had a consultant that helped us with the connection of all the other platforms, and the second one also I brought in uh, uh, a business partner who also seemed to be a consultant at PwC as at then. So I reached out to her and said, you know what, come on my show, let's have discussion. And she comes and we'll talk about discussions and all that. She talked. So she started a business herself. At some point before she reached out to me. So um the business went bad, that she failed. So we talked about something about failure, failing forward. So we spoke about, she told me how things went, how she, I'm, you know, how she was able to move on after she failed in a, she invested so much, a lot of, almost $500,000 or something in that business, and everything went away. You know, we talked about that, and later, I think on my 10th show, I was able to bring in one of the business people that I consult for and all that. I had them on my show, and before you know, we just started having great people on the show, and it's just been now. Sometimes right now we get booked to, like, right now we have some podcasts we've not even throughout the month of July. We already have a podcast that is already done. When I mean done, like is already published, but scheduled to, just waiting for it. So throughout July, there's no other date. August is booked, September is booked. So what am I trying to say is because we believed in, I believed in one thing, which the goal was stories, stories, because people really want to learn. They really want to
Yeah.
see, okay, how did you pass through this? Because that way the just the information you just say, maybe, okay, there's one of the the guests I brought on the show. She was a doctor, She got to a point, she was tired of being a doctor, and she was like, you know what? I don't want to be a doctor anymore. I want to go into consulting, like consulting kind of coaching. And her name is Dr. Carla, yeah. And she was like, am I sure I'm doing the right thing? Guess what? She came on the show. She's now making millions of dollars on, on the business, leaving being a doctor and stop being a doctor and focusing on consulting, which is crazy, because you never can tell if you're going
Yeah.
to get any, any person to consult with. So then she came on my show and we spoke. She's been doing a whole lot of things, Then she came on my show and a lot of people send me an email and say, you know what? That show changed my perspective. That they've been stuck in what they are doing because they are too scared of leaving. They don't like it, but
Yeah.
they don't like they hate Mondays to go to work, but they're like, you know what? I just have to do this because I need to survive.
Right. Yeah.
And guess what? That show changed. Like I have a lot of people send me an email and I say that show really changed my life. I've been able to take that bold step. That bold step that I have not been able to do many years. But guess what? I took that bold step. And that's what we're talking about. The ability for show, for a show to inspire people. To inspire people, not just only inspiration, is to for them to get knowledge, to know. The knows is what it's is the key itself. So and that's where it comes with financial literacy. One thing we'd also do in my show that I always also tell entrepreneurs is financial literacy is key. You understand? So as a matter of fact, as a business coach, one thing, of which brings us to the three things all entrepreneurs should know, you know, financial literacy is key, which means you need to, as an entrepreneur, you should be able to know, you need to understand your financial statement. You don't have to have an accountant. At least try to get QuickBook. If QuickBook is too expensive, I think it's 30 something dollars. There are other there's I think there's
Yeah.
Rocket.
Yeah.
There's Rocket. There's called Rocket Money. That could as small as that is, I think with $2 or $4, they wouldn't actually just donate anything you want for us. So with Rocket Money, at least you have your finances in check.
Mm-hmm.
As an entrepreneur, don't miss your personal money with your business money. I know a lot of people do that a lot because they feel like I'm still small. I've not. No, it's very important. Let your business money stay your business money, so that you would understand your cash flow. You can know, okay, am I really making money? you know and also
Right.
it's also good, you can actually give out $2 to somebody, from your end, and say, you know what, I'm just being generous and I'm giving you $2. But guess what, when it comes to business, you have to make that $2 very important to you. It should be crucial for your business. Budgeting is everything you need to know about business.
Yeah.
Because once you don't have an healthy financial management habit, guess what? Even if you're the best entrepreneur with the best coach in the world, guess what? It's a waste of time because you can't manage money. You can't manage money. So management of money is important. So from beginning, you can look for, so instead of going for softwares like monday.com, I'm not demarketing them, you can actually go for Todoist instead of monday.com. Todoist can still do what monday.com can do, which is Todoist is all free. Monday.com might not. So you don't have to go for tools of like thousands of dollars. Instead of going for Zoom, you can actually go for something, a little bit, not cheaper, but at least
Because Zoom actually
up to
is
par.
also quite expensive if you want to. I had to make the choice between Zoom and Riverside, and I just think Riverside is way better. I do think I
Sounds
do
100%.
hipper.
yeah, I do think we have to move on to the next topic.
But this is
Okay.
all good stuff. Whose topic? Yours or mine?
It's up to you. You can go first.
Well, I mean, everything Jay is talking about it's pretty in line with like the things I wanted to talk about. Management. And actually, that made me think of something else. Like, can you manage your money too much? So last night, Ruby and I were talking, and she said, "What topic are you going to choose?" And I said, "Oh, let's do that. Oh, I want scarcity mindset for money." And then, "Oh no, it's too difficult." And I want to ask this question, but like, you brought up money management, and Ruby, who do you think's better at managing money, you or I?
I think that you are definitely better at managing money.
I mean, trick question.
And this is
I
why I brought it up, because what Jay's been talking about intersects perfectly with what you wanted to talk about initially.
Yeah.
And then you changed it to does hard work matter? And I think that question has been answered extensively. You
yeah,
have
I
to keep
suppose
trying,
so.
keep trying.
Yes.
So yeah. What
Well,
money management?
see, I would say that's a trick question. I asked you a trick question because I don't think I'm good at managing money, because it causes me so much grief, because I try my best to manage my money to a point where it kind of makes me miserable, and I don't really like, I'm afraid to spend. Like, I'm miserly and stingy. Now, I might have a good amount of money, but what good is that money when I don't have solace when I spend it? Like, money's a tool, but for people who have a bad relationship with money, this guy, I have a lot of trouble recognizing that money's a tool and remembering that. For me, I'm just like, I got to save all my money in case of disaster. So yeah, I just wonder, Jay, what are your thoughts about that? Can you manage money in let's say, I don't know, a toxic way? Or is my money managing good?
I think when it comes to, or let me just say, don't let me say that I think, for sure,
Yeah.
when it comes to money management, I used to be like that. Once you don't have a budget, it's just like you go to the store, you don't have a budget, you don't have a plan of things you want to buy. Guess what? You're going to buy something you don't need. Maybe somebody's going to tell you, oh, this is 20% off. You're like, oh, 20% off, it's cheap. Oh, I like this. But you're buying it because you don't need it, but because it's cheap.
Right.
Or probably there's a discount. Oh man, I love this shoe. I've been thinking about, I want to buy it right now because they said they are doing discount. But when you have a budget already, so you're laying on the budget. So for me, I buy things I want when it's my personal money. So when it comes to business money, it's totally different. I'm looking for a better deal for business.
Yes.
And that's the thing. I'm always looking for a better deal for business. And as an entrepreneur, I can tell you, sometimes everything we call discount is not really discount in real sense. Sometimes discount is something that they will feel like, okay, you know what? Maybe somebody's making X3, maybe they're making $300 worth of profit on something worth $400. So they can say, you know what? Okay, let me just drop it to $200 for now. Let somebody jump on it. So it's still not discount, but it's just opportunity for other people to grab it. So what am I trying to say is, when it comes to budgeting, it's going to save you a lot. Budget, budget, budget. So whatever you want to do, whatever business you want to do, just remember you need to budget. You need to say, okay, Riverside or Zoom. How much is Zoom worth? What is Riverside giving me? Comparison. There are a lot of tech website that does all this comparison. You can do a lot of comparison and know which one really works. So I would I'm not being paid by Rocket Money, but it's something I used at some point. But I'm telling you. So try to download Rocket Money. I don't know if they have it. I'm sure they have it, all over the world. So you can actually download Rocket
Yeah, we can
Money
get it.
and try it and check it out. So
I think the question though is, Luigi never spends any money. He doesn't need a budget because money flows one way.
But I want to change that. Like, I do budget my money every month, and I never go over my budget. And if I come close to going over my budget, that causes me a lot of anxiety. It's terrible. And that's something I really want to overcome. Because I feel like I'm probably budgeting still even too little. Like, I could afford to spend more.
For sure.
but man, it's tough for me. It's neurotic.
Yeah. So, but I think money itself has to do it. If there's a cash flow coming in, that's why it's called currency. And currency is meant to be garbage in,
Uh,
garbage out. It needs to
yeah.
flow. So if there's no currency flowing,
Hmm.
then there's gonna be a little bit of stagnancy. So when I mean currency flowing, it doesn't necessarily mean buying something you don't need. It could be maybe investing in something, maybe buying new tools that will actually make something better for your business itself, buying new equipment. So what am I trying to say is it's just the currency part of it, for it to flow. So I think you're on a good end. Some people are really praying to be like you, which is a good they're
One
praying to be
wished on my
like you so
worst
they don't
enemy.
have to spend so much money, because some
Yeah.
people, when they have, you can't trust them with money. You just put $1,000 with them right now, it's gone by tomorrow morning, because they're
Yeah.
going online and buying everything they need and the ones they don't need. So but
Yes.
it's a good thing that you can actually look at it and say, you know what, I don't want to spend this money, and you are disciplined, and that's fine. I don't think you really need. So I don't think. I think you have you. I think you need to give a lot of people masterclass on how you do it, because a
Thank
lot of
you. That
people
means a
can do
lot.
it. A lot of people can do what you do. Because once the money comes in, oh my God, they're spending everything
Mhm.
right there. When they are done spending, then they not. Oh my God, I think I'm runner. So now let's just quickly go. Let me just quickly add number 4 and number 5, because I know we have time fast spent. Number 4, I always say to entrepreneurs is you need to embrace failure as a learning tool. So if failure is not going to be a learning tool, then it's not what's being called failure. So it should be a learning tool, because when you have a setback, you already understand. So for example, you indulge in a business and somebody come to tell you, you know what, can you give us um can you lend me some money out of your business, and because of, for example, you being nice and say, you know what, I'm just gonna give you this product on credit, and you give them product on credit, and guess what, they never paid you back. So you've learned. So next time, you know that no matter how the story is very nice and touchy, you can't help. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So now
Yeah.
you learned. So, and it can also be maybe a customer, you know, probably due to one or two things, a customer asks you for, you know, for free service, and you offer free service, and they say, don't worry, when I get my money, I'm gonna buy more service from you, and you offer free service. And when they got it, they went to another competitor. So you now know, so now you learn no free service until at least you buy one, then I give you one free. So now that shapes your knowledge about your field. So you're embracing failure, and you're using it as a learning tool. So I don't say it's fine to just be a failure, but the thing is, don't take failure as the end, because a lot of people, once they fail, they say, you know what, the business is done for. I'm no longer doing this business anymore, and they just give up. Or probably they have a restaurant, and they have all the hypes. I have a client. No, let me give you a story. A client of mine, she set up a spa. She was setting up a spa. She didn't tell me, because I've helped her with a lot of, but I think she was like, oh, maybe my prices were too much, so she went to, I just saw it online that she just opened a big spa and all that. I'm like, wow, congratulations. She said, oh, thank you. I was gonna call you, but I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I know my price might be too. He said, oh, because I thought you were too busy. I said, no, it's fine, because you've been working with me for years, so it's fine. So now, then she invited me over. I went to the spa, very big spa, nice, in the heart of New Jersey. And I told her, listen. She told me, but right now, the person she's working with seems like he doesn't know what he's doing, you know. And I told her that, see, listen, you have a nice spa, which is fine. She bought the spa from somebody else. So she revamped it and, make it beautiful and all that. But I said, the thing is, the goal is not how beautiful your spa is. I said, have you reached out to clients? Because I look at the neighborhood. It's not a place that people can walk in easily. I'm like, one, I just don't want to be bad to you, but I'm just being honest with you. All right, you're not paying me for this service, but I'm going to tell you, one, nobody's going to walk in here easy. So now I want you. I'm doing it for free, because you've been working with me for years. But the thing is, now I want to make sure you do everything that people start booking appointment online. At least try it. Said, oh, I still want to put some nice light. I'm like, first you need to see if people, because if you have a very beautiful spa and nobody's coming in, then what's the point of the spa? So because the client are the main people that you need. So what am I trying to say is, in in when I told her, she was like, "Oh my God, I never thought about this. I thought the other person was telling me to make it more beautiful, more beautiful. Maybe people walking will see it." I said, "Nobody's gonna see it. Nobody. How many people walks from here looking from outside?" And she took that word because she pays $8,000 on mortgage on that property every month. She's paying $8,000 every month, minus electricity and all that. And these things were burning, and she wasn't making a dollar. She wasn't making a dime. So automatically I said, you know what? You failed according to what you feel you failed, but you've not failed because now you've learned. When I gave her financial advice, I gave her all the advice she needs, and guess what? She's making sales right now. People are coming in, albeit they are coming via online because she made a mistake in the destination. The location, and location is everything. Any business you are trying to do. So the location wasn't a good place that people would just walk in. So guess what? She made a mistake. She learned from the mistake, and then guess what? Maybe she's like, oh, she stuck to herself, and she said, you know what? I don't care. I'm not gonna. Yes, I failed. I'm gonna shut down this business. I can't keep paying $8,000 a month, and she run out of mortgage, and she lose $0, zero energy. Then she lost all the money, all the stuff, all the kits, everything she got. So no matter what, embrace failure as a learning tool. That's number 4. Number 5, you also need to build a strong network. Just like I'm on this show, Yes, I'm
Happy to
building.
know you. Happy to
I
have
have
you
a
part of
strong
our
network.
network.
I have a strong people here. They have they are the expert. So you need to also be on this show to learn more information, get more knowledge. So you build a strong network because network is essential. That's why somebody like Elon Musk can tell. Let's just even talk about network itself. Look at Elon Musk. Just send a message to his friend and said, you know what, I want to buy Twitter. Do you have some billions of dollars? The other person like, I'm looking at, is 1 billion enough? I don't know if you saw the text message. It's Elon Musk sent to his friend, and it's like, okay, I think I have $2 billion, and they bought Twitter. Just imagine just texting your friend like, I just want to buy Twitter, and that's the power
I didn't know.
of network.
You just borrowed money from
That's the
people.
power of network. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think he really borrowed. He just said they should just, join forces to be able to buy the highest shares so that they can own Twitter. Just imagine I want to buy McDonald's tomorrow, and I'm like, you know what? Let me just send a message to Luigi and say, hi. Let's just buy this McDonald's. Do you have like 400 billion? Let's just own it. The new owners of McDonald's. That's how it works. That's good. Strong network is good. Build a strong network as an entrepreneur. Networking is everything. There's a lot of events in New York City that we always go there, just take wine and all that, relax. The goal is not just to go there and take a wine. You can take a wine in your house, right? But the goal is to be able to build network. Strong network, and say, oh, I know Jay is a good entrepreneur. Come, let's work on this project together. Or let me call Luigi, or let me call Ray. Let's do something. And that's the power.
I think for
That's the
a lot of
power.
people who are on the kind of the layman level, or I I I refer to it as the proletariat mindset. For example, I started this podcast in April. That was the first time we
Wow.
recorded anything. And I
Wow.
had never imagined at that point that I would be speaking to a successful business owner in New York. And here I am.
Yeah.
So that
I didn't
to me is
expect
insane.
it. Furthest thing from my mind, I did not expect that.
Wow. Wow. And that's it. By this time next year, it's gonna be bigger. Wow, April. That's like a few months ago. And that's the power. That's the power of networking, building up a network, a strong network. And it takes a while, but guess what? It goes far. And that's the honest truth. So another thing I always tell entrepreneurs, which is number 6, because we need to get to number 10, is to focus on customer experience. Guess what? I don't know if you've ever bought any product. Have you ever bought any product where you are that nobody marketed to you? You didn't have to see it online. Somebody just told you, oh, you told them you want a toothpaste. They said, oh, this toothpaste, oh my God.
Yeah,
Or you
like
want
a
to buy
friend.
some, yeah. Or you
Yeah,
want
yeah,
to
yeah.
go to a restaurant. They
Of
say,
course.
oh, this restaurant, oh my God, this is the best restaurant in the whole
Yeah.
of. They have good customer experience. You don't even have to do adverts. People are just going to say, wow, that's the
Right.
best thing
It's
that's ever
word of
happened.
mouth.
Yeah, word of mouth.
Yeah.
Word of mouth. Word of mouth.
That's
Or what do
also
you
the
think,
number.
Luigi?
I mean, I agree. That's one thing I definitely remember from when I was in high school, I think, taking marketing. And one thing I learned, one thing that I still remember from the textbook was bad word of mouth will reach 22 people or something like that. And like good word of mouth will reach like 1. So you got to be real careful when you do it. But yeah, it's definitely true. I mean, you trust, your social circles because they've experienced it and you have a relationship with them. Absolutely. And people understand that, you know, in the world of consumerism, everyone's trying to be sold something. There's so much choice. So how do you make a really good grounded decision? Well, you trust your peers because they're, they're in the trenches with you in life. So, they've gone through it. They don't want to waste their money and so on. So yeah, that's why word of mouth is so important.
How about you, Ray?
I know that word of mouth is the number way method of podcasts growing. I know that it's the most resilient messaging alive in terms of having bought things that weren't marketed to me. Actually, most things. I very, very rarely buy things based on marketing. And it's really interesting
Hmm.
that you bring up marketing because I studied communication management, the art of creating good messages. And specifically, my focus was crisis management and internal communication management, but with the goal of getting that to the external stakeholders. And I think that a lot of marketing, this was my topic, a lot of marketing in today's world just kills authentic messaging in a way that is viscerally visible, but everybody ignores because they've come to expect it that way.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, let me ask you a question. When you think about Mountain Dew, what do you think about?
The drink Mountain Dew.
I know this drink. I think
Yeah, what do you think about?
too sweet.
I remember
Hmm.
I do like Mountain Dew. I haven't had it in years,
Yeah.
but if I ever found a bottle around here, I'd buy it right away.
Okay, wait.
Truthfully.
Honest answer here. What I think of when I hear Mountain Dew is driving home from university, driving to this pizza shop called Roman's Pizza. And they had, okay, South African money, 12 Rand at that time. That's nothing. That's like 7 RMB.
Okay, so like a $1 American dollar.
$1 for a mini pizza of
Yeah.
4 pieces
Yeah.
and the Mountain Dew, a can of Mountain Dew on the side. And I got the like chili feta pepperoni pizza.
Okay.
With a can of Mountain Dew on the side. And that is what's in my mind for Mountain Dew.
Wow, man, pizza itself it's a powerful thing. The experience itself.
Yeah, the
know,
experience. Yeah,
we
that's
have
why you
Papa
remember Mountain Dew.
John's. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So another thing is, if you look at Mountain Dew, for me, you think about energy, sport, extreme sports. And when I think
Okay.
about Coca-Cola, I think about Christmas. Santa Claus with the
I
white
could see it.
beard.
Well, I understand why you have that connection too, because it wasn't that a part of. Didn't Coca-Cola invent the Red Santa?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Yes,
also associate Coke with Christmas as well.
Yes. It's just a mental thing, because of the experience we have. Probably very good marketing. Or when you
Yeah.
think about Pepsi, you think about something like Gladiator advert they did one time like that. There was somebody doing, we will rock you. Remember, dim,
Yeah.
dim,
Yeah.
dim.
Yeah.
That thing. I have a way he came into our minds, and we start thinking about product. We associate product with this kind of experience. You talk about McDonald's, you have an experience. You talk about KFC, there's this experience. There's Popeyes over here too, Louisiana Popeyes. A lot of people associated with having that southern flavor, with the mix of nice grill and all that. So there's the experience that comes with it. That sometimes
Yes.
you don't have to even do a lot. People are going to be the one marketing your brand and say, you know what, oh my God, this is the best thing. This is the best drink I've ever had. This is the best, whatever the thing is. All right. And that's how, it's always very good as an entrepreneur to focus on customer experience. So just try as much as possible. Make sure if a client, maybe you're selling a service and one of your clients customer is not good with it, it's better you actually find a way to make sure they are very satisfied than let them go unsatisfied, because they will tell them, oh, don't go to that place, it's really bad. And number 7, be adaptable and open to change, which is very important. Be adaptable and open to change. Number 8, invest in personal development. It's always very good to have more knowledge, more courses. As an entrepreneur, I have a PMP certification. I have quite a number of certification that I got through the years, because I really want to build my personality. Having been a certified business coach, also having Sigma 6 certification also, because I really want to know more, so more knowledge. So another thing
Brand
is
enhancement.
yes, it's very, very important. You want to build your personal brand, so it helps you a lot. So another number 9 is you need to emphasize on this thing, which is work-life balance, because as an entrepreneur, it's very demanding. I work Monday to Sunday, but guess what? I try as much as possible to take a break. It's very important, because sometimes we really don't. We just want to work. But sometimes
Okay,
I
I have
try
an
to
important
take
question.
break.
Are you
Yeah.
working now or are you taking a break?
I'm actually working right now. I'm not in the break yet.
That hurts me. That hurts me.
Oh, you mean
It's
for
good
the
work.
show?
But it's good
If
work.
you say for the show, I wouldn't call it work. I would say I'm actually doing I'm actually, would I call it work? I wouldn't call it work. So I thought you mean generally if I'm working. No,
I mean,
but
network
generally
is.
I'm not in my vacation mood yet. So I'm not in a vacation mood yet.
Yeah.
But right now, yes, I'm still working because I'm not yet in vacation. Maybe my vacation is August because one of the most busy time for us as an entrepreneur is summer, which is between June, July, August. So after August, everything died down a little bit, then
Is
not
that
die down per se. Yeah.
is that because people have more free time and like they do these things on the side? They do these hustles when they have their vacation time.
Yes, correct.
Oh,
Because most times,
never guessed.
that's when people have enough time. Because the truth is, the work life, even not for entrepreneurs, the work life in America is quite demanding. So people work 9 to 5. They really don't have no time. So during their vacation, that's when they start thinking that, you know what, I need to think about something to do. They start having a
Right.
second thought, or maybe starting
Yeah.
a business, or starting this, or how do I do this? So, and that's when they need a business coach who can actually tell them that, not tell them in real sense, because the truth is, we really don't tell people things. All right. So the thing is, we only help you navigate. It's just trying to go into somebody's head and try to see what they're thinking. All right. So as a business coach, I don't want to try to tell you to start a restaurant business when you want to start a karate business, for example, or maybe you want to start a podcast. I'm like, no, don't start a podcast. Why don't you just go into maybe a restaurant, or maybe that's not what you want to do. If I try to convince you to do that, because your energy, you don't have the same energy with that flow, guess what? You're gonna get tired, and you're going to just drop it off and say, you know what, this is not what I want to do. So what we do is, as a business coach, is I look at what you want to do, because the first question is, what do you want to do? So now it's now to make your hobby, because the most fun part of life is when, for example, Ray studied communication management in school. I'm sure she likes talking and having conversation and all that. But guess
I
what?
hate it. I hate it.
That's why
You,
we have the
you don't
show.
like it?
No, I'm joking.
So let me just guess you like it, But guess what? Now imagine Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey like talking, conversation, and guess what? She's being paid to just talk. You know, the best the entrepreneurship flow you can take is loving what you are doing. Just imagine you love what you're doing, and you're getting paid for it. You like cooking. The top chef in the world love cooking, just fry, and is paid to just fry, to something he would do anyways, whether you pay him or not. He's gonna do it,
Yeah, very true.
or maybe the guy that loves mixing alcohol, just put it together, the bartender, and he's being paid thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars just to mix, and say, oh, it's the best mixology in the world. He loves it. He's gonna do it at home anyways. So you are enjoying what you're doing. Or maybe there's this dude that knows how to sing. He loves singing in the bathroom anyways. And he's getting paid of millions of dollars for people to see him to come and sing the way he can sing. It's entrepreneurship too. And he just sing, da, 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 and people are paying him to just come see him sing.
Yeah.
So whatever the most interesting entrepreneurship life you want. Like me, I love helping people navigate business troubles. As a matter of fact, I love it when there's a problem so we can solve it, because I love thinking out of the box. How can we actually solve this problem? And that's one thing Elon Musk did, that fetch him a lot. And a lot of people might say, I don't like him. They forget about political view or whatever the thing is. This dude is actually a genius. For him, he went to Twitter, he looked at Twitter and said, okay, why do we need 100% of staff when we can fire 80% and have 20% that can actually do the job better? Why do we need to give people a blue check mark for doing nothing? Why don't we just make money from it? He was able to make, I think, $40 million. I'm not sure about the figure every month from just people who want blue check mark and paying for it. And guess what? Instagram started that. Every other person wanted to pay for blue check mark. Nobody was thinking about it. Look about Tesla. Tesla drives itself. I have one. Anyways, so it drives itself, self-driving. It has you can while you're charging, you're watching a nice YouTube, you're watching this podcast, probably or you're listening to, a show. You can do a lot. I literally I do Zoom on my Tesla. Sometimes I do my Zoom meetings via my Tesla. Sometimes I surf the internet via my Tesla. So what am I trying to say is, you know, it's very important to always think out of the box and don't just be stuck into just one line of thought. Think out of the box, and bring good ideas. And before you know it, the world will be your stepping stone. So now, last but not the least, is I want you to stay persistent and also be resilient. Because the thing is, the road to success is very bumpy. Not often, it's bumpy, because you're gonna have one or two issues, and the ability for you to stand strong, that's what makes you a great person or a great entrepreneur. So nobody's gonna tell you it's easy,
Yeah.
but do not just give up just because you made a mistake. So just keep moving forward, even when faced with challenges. And that's the point. That's what makes you a great entrepreneur. So that's one thing. So these are the 10 things all entrepreneurs should know, especially if you ever consider being an entrepreneur. Like I said, everybody's an entrepreneur. If you can get into a vehicle and drive yourself, you're an entrepreneur. And that's it. That's true about life. So that's all I have for you guys today.
That's awesome. I agree with everything that you've said, except for Elon Musk. I have a personal relationship with that man, and it's not a great one. But
Yeah.
I can recognize that he's been successful in business.
Yeah, he is. He is, to be honest.
I wouldn't label him a genius.
This was like
Mm,
a free, really expensive seminar. I was totally surprised by all
No,
this. This is
absolutely.
great. I did not expect to learn so much. I like to now I can tell
You're
people I am
welcome.
an entrepreneur. Whether you believe it or not, you are an entrepreneur.
I do have a question for you though. This might be,
All right.
if you don't want to answer it, of course you don't have to.
Okay.
But you're in New York, and politically, New York is undergoing some changes, probably
Correct.
with Mamdani being
Mandani?
elected. How
Yeah.
do you feel about that?
Yeah. I know Mandani. I know him because I have quite a number of friends, especially in the city. I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce in New York, and you know, so for me, he's actually a great person. In as much as there are some things, some of his policies that I don't, for New York's sake, I don't think might work. And that's the honest truth. Because we're in a capitalist. He's like a Democrat socialist. So when you a Democrat and you win the primaries, automatically you win the elections. That's what they say. And um socialism might really not work in the city, like free buses. I don't think it will work. Other things might work, but free buses will not work. Definitely, I'm sure of that. So because we're in
The
a
reason I'm
capitalist state.
asking this, I'm not trying to like dig into. Obviously, his policies are directly related to this, but I'm asking because of I was, while you were talking, I was thinking about the city-owned grocery stores and how you think that might affect small business or actually large business. Because in my mind, I think that large business takes away a lot of culture and society. So for me, if the policies are going to work, but it's going to hurt large business, I don't think that's so bad.
I don't know how it would hurt large businesses. well, hang on. But also, just to say, you don't think large businesses are a part of culture?
No, they absolutely are. I just think that when they reach a monopoly level size, for example, Amazon,
Yeah.
there's no other company that can effectively break into online sales in America and
Right,
challenge
yeah.
them properly. And the same thing here in China.
Okay.
So I think that has the potential to take away from society.
So then do you think but with something like Amazon that's so big, too big to fail, let's say, how could it really be hurt by these changes?
That's the thing. They're so profit driven
Yeah.
that they make a big rigmarole if anything hurts the profits.
Right.
So and that's the way that it hurts society. I don't think that anybody can shut down Amazon,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I do think that the state in some way allowing let's take the groceries as an example. Hypothetically, if it works, I don't know if it will work or not.
Mhm.
But now you have grocery stores that are selling cheaper products to people in a direct way. And what's happening is the people that have a monopoly that are able to afford the rent and so on, they are forced to move out because they just can't keep up with the government owned or government subsidized grocery stores. And then that might open it up for more small niche businesses as rent goes down because the big boys
Mhm.
are moving out. And rent comes down and then small business picks up.
Right.
I know that sounds utopian, and it might be, but that's what I would like to happen.
Sure.
I agree with you. But when it comes to groceries, like in New York City, we don't have Walmart in New York City. We don't have the big grocery store like that in the city. So most of the stores are like upstate New York, which is the greater New York of which he has no control over, you know. Um, so it's not like there's Costco or something. Most of the city really don't have. Most of the stores are small stores. That can work because just subsidizing it is not like it's really going to be free. So which it would really go a long way because New York really literally make a lot of money on taxes. Like when I mean taxes, like if you're
Mhm.
just coming from probably New Jersey and you want to go to, like, let's say to the airport in JFK, you're going to spend $50 on tolls only. More than $50 on tolls, just tolls. So just imagine how many vehicles come through New Jersey towards the
Mhm.
city to JFK to Queens every day. So there's a lot of money being made by the city. So I think New York City is like the richest city in the whole of America, if I'm right. You know, so, subsidizing might not be a problem. That might not really be a problem. I agree with you. That would work 100%. The one I think might really not work that much would be buses. Like, just imagine like free buses. Oh my god, they really violate it. So, and it's going to also affect a lot of Uber drivers. It's going to also have, the yellow taxi really is a no-go area, and I'm not demarketing them. It's really a no-go area because they would really, because there's a way they do it. They just take you around, around, and around. Before you know it, $100 is gone just sitting in the traffic. So you are better off taking the train or taking Uber or taking Lyft or any other option.
We have the same problem with metered taxis here.
Oh, meter taxis are like, I don't want to call them. Ah, my God, they will just purposely do it. Oh my God, I don't know what it. I think I made a mistake at some point. I was meant to take Uber, but I was on phone and I don't know what. I just entered the yellow taxi, metered one. I just closed the door, and before you know it, normally it would cost me $30 for that ride on Uber. Normally, it's a normal ride I take. On taxi, we've not even started moving. It already cost me like $50. I had to tell I was like, nah, I can't do this. I told the driver, please, can I just get down? It's okay. I'll just take Uber. Because if not, before we get there, I will have spent $150 without even getting nowhere. I'm like, and that's it. I think meter taxi is like, they're really rubbing off on people. They know how to play that game, anyways. So that just it. For this election, it's gonna be a tough one. Because I'm a little bit politically inclined. Maybe that's why I was able to answer that. Um, when it comes to politics, I'm a little bit inclined because now we have the current mayor, Eric Adams, who is also contesting as an independent. But now the Republican candidate is trying to step down. They're trying to work on that to find him to step down for Eric Adams. So Eric Adams, who was a former Democrat, will be a Republican. So it's going to be Republican versus Democrat. Then the former governor of New York City that lost the primaries, that's Andrew Cuomo. Andrew Cuomo also said he's going to likely run as an independent. So it's going to be a tough cookie because now we're going to see a fight between a former governor, of which in the general election, I don't know. So Madanis has a lot to fight. A lot. Yes.
I don't know enough to deliver further comment. Personally, I think that young politicians are required. We need someone. It doesn't even matter if everything doesn't work. Just a large part of what they're doing is going to be fresh and transformative. And I think that's what the world needs. No more old politicians.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm the intersectional leftist feminist anti-fascist person.
Can't old politicians be that way?
Sure, they can. Bernie Sanders would have been awesome, but
Unfortunately,
the problem is they're they move a little bit slower. Maybe they don't have, not physically, but in terms of understanding technology and understanding the modern times and understanding the constituents that are coming up and coming of age.
I guess, yeah. Could be right.
My opinion as a non-American outside viewer